Chairman, just to let you know, I need to be in a different meeting at 6 o'clock, so I'll jump off the call just before then, if that's okay.
That's fine, no problem.
Thanks.
I apologise for the wandering 5-year-old as well. There isn't much I can do about it, to be fair.
No, that's all right. That's all right.
Get me involved in the meeting, I would.
Yes.
Right, we're live streaming now, Chairman.
Okay, lovely. Thank you. So, welcome everybody to Scrutiny. I'm just going to go straight into the agenda. I just have to get it up on my computer because I never received the hard copy. So, any apologies for any absences?
Councillor Butterfield.
Yes, I received.
She has conflicting work commitment, Chairman.
Thank you. Moving on to number 2, declaration of interests. Does anybody have any interest to declare? Okay. Moving on to number 3, which is confirmation of the minutes of the meetings held on 15th of September. Is everybody okay with that?
Indeed.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Number 4, urgent items. There aren't any urgent items that I'm aware of. And so with that, we'll move on to number 5, which is to consider references from other committees. If there are any, I don't believe there are any.
That's correct, Chairman.
Okay, so that then moves on to number 6, which is Chairman's update. So I would just like to say welcome to everyone, because this is our first full council meeting, full scrutiny meeting since the reductions came into effect, and now that we've had a full council meeting, we are now having our full scrutiny meetings, full participation. So welcome everybody. I just wanted to say as well that in the council meeting, my connection was absolutely awful that night, and so that's why I wasn't on the screen and I wasn't able to hear properly what was going on. Only when I look back, there was a part where I was asked for a comment to make about scrutiny, and I didn't actually make anything, so I just want to apologise for that start. And I just wanted to say thank you for everyone and their contributions over the last year. Thank you to David for being the officer and all the support that he's given me throughout the time that I have been chair so far. And I hope that going forward, we can still continue to have robust debate and also scrutinise in goodwill. So with that, thank you very much. And I will be quiet from here and move on to the next part, which is number 7, Regulation 9 notice. David, is there anything to comment on this at all?
It's for members to note, Chairman, and perhaps to remind members that any item on the Regulation 9 notice can be drawn down by any member at a future date.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's something. Yeah, so as David said, any member here can actually request to draw down an item, and I would encourage that going forward as well. Item number 8, Dartford Cricket Club annual update. Do we have a presentation from anybody to update this at all, David? Or
yeah, Mr. Jefferson is presenting, Chairman.
Okay, is there anything at all that you wanted to say, Mr. Jefferson?
Not really. Well, other than that the report looks really positive in terms of their competitive members, the work they've been doing with the collaboration with other cricket clubs and the use of their nets up at Tesco's Park. And having looked at the report, it just the club's taken the attitude of embedding itself into the community through its sort of social events and its charitable events that they run at the pavilion. It's been a bit awkward, as we all know, with the 2 phases of lockdown, but there's been certainly regular communication with the club both through emails and telephone calls in terms of making sure the building's still fine and they're meeting their obligations as a tenant.
Thank you, Mr. Jefferson. I have to say that I'm happy with the report as well. You've got to do what you can do at these times, really, and try and muddle through as best you can. And I think that they've done what they can, and I think we should give them thanks for that and praise as well. So thank you very much. So does anybody else have any comments at all? Okay, moving swiftly on then. Number 9, committee work plan. Is there any updates on that, David, at all? Or it's still work in progress, as I understand?
Yeah, it's a rolling work plan, Chairman. So it's up to date with the standard items, which are Princess Park, DCC, of course, and the Orchard Theatre. The Orchard Theatre, we're just waiting for them to give us some feedback. As you may, as members, the older members on this committee, not the older members per se, will remember that the Orchard Theatre Group publish all their accounts simultaneously. So they wait till all their theatres have produced their accounts for this fiscal year in question. So that might come up at the next meeting. It may not. It depends on the national picture, and of course that's very difficult and is ongoing. So I think we might well see that in February. Hopefully we will, because the Orchard Theatre, like all theatre and cinema groups, are very much in the hands of the next lockdown, and whether they'll be opening up, whether they'll have anything substantive to tell us. Hopefully by February that will be the case, Chairman.
Thank you, David. I hope so too. Hope that we'll be able to also draw down some items as well after this second period of lockdown and see how things have been going and see how we can work things up. Calvin, hi, Councillor Calvin.
Thank you, Chairman. Just following on from Cabinet Advisory a couple of weeks ago, I think it was Councillor Gaskin raised around the Acacia project and some concerns around some overspends on capital programmes and some capital programmes that weren't going forward, etc. You know, whilst I'm quite confident, and I made clear in that meeting that, you know, the team have got a really good record of pulling those back. I did also say that probably the appropriate place to ask questions of that would be in scrutiny, and as she's not on this committee, I would like to put that forward as perhaps an item for the next meeting. Capital programmes generally, but we could look at Acacia as a specific item, because, you know, there was concern from colleagues in the Labour group about the overspend there. You know, I think it'd be right for this committee, that's what scrutiny is all about, it'd be right for us to look at that if colleagues were in agreement. And that's it.
Thank you, Calvin. Thank you for that. And it's something that we can definitely look at drawing down so that we can discuss. Absolutely. Adrian, I see your hands waving.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, David. Yeah, I'd just like to strongly agree with Councillor McLean's suggestion. I think that's an excellent idea. Thank you. Good response. And as you say, an appropriate forum. So, yeah, I'd like to support that strongly.
Thank you, Adrian.
It'll just be clear that I'm drawing it down.
Yes, you're drawing it down. Yes, yes.
Thanks. Just, you know, but only because Councillor Gaskin's not on this, and she raised quite clear concerns. Yeah. And she's not here, and she's not on this committee, so I'd like to draw it down. You know.
No, thank you. Yeah, absolutely. That's it.
Good response.
Put your name all over it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Does anybody else have any comments at all?
Just on process, Chairman, I've made the note, obviously, of Councillor McLean's drawdown, but that will be done in the usual procedure. It will be through Councillor Garden as the vice chairman and the leader of that group on this committee. Yeah, but I've made a note for the record.
So it'll be Councillor Brian Garden.
That is understood. Calvin, the formal thing is for Calvin to approach me and for me then to agree or disagree with him. How could I disagree? And put it forward formally for the next meeting.
Excellent. Right. Okay. So with that, if there aren't any more comments, I do believe that was the end of the agenda. And with that,
that's correct, Chairman. Yes.
Okay. With that, I think Tom's going to be able to make his next meeting in good time. And I bid everyone farewell and thank you for a nice meeting. Thank you very much. Take